Then I heard her say, my late husband. She was giving a monologue, saying things about me like a eulogy, or like she was talking about me after I died to someone who didn't know me.
Let them talk you into taking your bones.
You can have your skin, give me your epidermis.
I just
Every bone, muscle, and twitch in their body.
I always wanted to have my remains shot into space. This is totally creepy. It's like the American Horror Story Valleyfolk edition.
It was really beautiful. It was very scary.
Nice work. That's from Velaz Machine on the subreddit.
It would be from Velaz Machine.
It's certainly it's a Velaz Machine.
It's such a Velaz machine.
That was like the music from like a late 80s,
Yes.
early 90s horror anthology movie. Maybe like a creep show. It's like, what's happening?
Mike Falzone beard hair is in the mic, and I was touching my lip. That's so gross. Gross. There's a lot in here. This is where he sits, isn't it?
Yeah, because he's
That's
also
where he sits, yeah.
Mike is
That's some good
he's
stuff
an
there.
eater of mics.
This
Mike
is
is always like,
Yeah. Ugh.
Hey guys, welcome to the Valleycast.
we might never get Elliott to speak again.
Oh man, it's like you just made out. You got man
That was
spiky.
bad.
No,
It was
it's not
delicate.
like you didn't even get the kisses. You just got the beard, man.
Hey
Thank
guys,
you,
it's the Valleycast. It's the podcast that is run and hosted by the Valleyfolk.
Ooh.
And welcome to episode, what is this, like fucking 30
I
or
think it's
something?
38?
39.
Holy
Wow.
crap.
Kate,
Guys.
We did 39. Holy crap.
In
Holy
1 week,
crap.
we're going to be like past the prime age.
this podcast is older than any of us.
It is. It's a little ancient. Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
more episodes than old age.
You're all right.
I think I'll still be in my prime at 40.
Do you think so?
Yeah. I think 40 is still.
Yeah,
I think
for
40 is what
women,
I'm shooting
that's
for.
the
40, 45.
40 you tank.
Yeah.
Of women.
That's tough.
You're just a bones. You're just a
tough.
bag of bones.
So guys, welcome. If this is your first time listening, why the fuck did you pick this episode?
Go back.
I can tell them why.
Look more.
Great title.
I know why they
Great
will have.
title.
put
Oh,
on
okay,
this.
great. Well, if you're
Yeah,
if you're
touch
just
on
joining
it.
us, this podcast, the subject of this podcast involves each one of the Valleyfolk, Joe Barrett, Elliott, Morgan, Lee Newton, and myself, bringing a topic to the table, something we want to talk about. We dig in, we chew it up, we spit it out, then we have dessert, and then if there's time, we tip the waiter and get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, delicious.
Bada bing, bada
That's
boom.
pretty good. I like what you did
Well,
there.
we
Yeah,
did.
I really
Thanks,
do
man.
like it.
It was
Well,
back.
and of course, we're
It was
going
nice.
to tip the waiter because everyone deserves
Well, we'll see.
it.
The
Just
service-
know
we'll see
it
how the
doesn't
service
matter.
is.
Yeah, but I
You
always
still-
feel bad.
Me too.
because
I was
of
a
my
waiter for so
past
many
as a
times. You don't
waiter.
know the
It's like I
subject.
give 20.
Also, it's like
Oh,
you don't
here
know
comes
if
Joe
they're
bragging
over-
about
Elliott.
being a waiter at some
Elliott.
point.
I was too.
Listen, I
always
appreciate your
tip.
bits. It's time for my story. No, but are you guys ready?
Oh, actually, before we jump in, a quick little announcement. If you're watching this on the YouTubes, we want to tell you
Yes.
now, it's not happening this second, but very soon in the near future, we're going to be doing the video of this highlight, what
yes.
we're doing right now, on another channel. We're going to launch the Valleycast podcast channel, which will migrate this show over to there, and then it's going to be a home for possibly new shows.
We're
to
just
pop
doing a
up.
little
Guess
bit
what?
of cleanup. That's all.
Yeah,
just a
there's,
little bit of cleanliness.
and shorter videos will hopefully make our channel go better. And also, there's a link. This channel's been created. If you want to subscribe to it, get those long form podcasts, be able to put them in a playlist, play all of them at once while you're doing around your house, would be very nice.
It's a little bit of helping each other. Go to the description if you're watching on the YouTubes. Click on it. Subscribe to that channel. We want it to build up a little bit so we can get our custom URLs. All that crap.
Love custom URLs.
And
Love custom.
in the future, we will, and we're going to let you know. In the future, we'll be posting this over there and posting highlights on the main channel here.
That's right.
Like
We're
very
just trying to
tiny
we're just
highlights.
trying to
I love what
clean
they're
up
doing.
your feeds. We're trying to cleanliness is next to godliness, they say, and we just don't want to muddy up that beautiful YouTube channel with a bunch of goddamn hour-long trash garbage videos.
That's right. And we're going to have more hour-long garbage trash videos in the future because there are other podcasts we want to do. We just know they don't belong here on the main YouTube channel.
I'm out of my mind. I was like, I'm not going to talk about it. And then it's either I talk about this or I talk about
Or you talk about it
Nothing.
tomorrow when you
Yeah.
have to.
It's a story that's in development, and it's absolutely
Oh,
one of the funniest things that has ever happened. And for sure, just the next like of course situation in my existence. Guys, I'm being inundated right now.
Inundated.
With tweets and comments and followers. So thank you for the bump. By somebody who I love very much, named Ethan Klein.
Dun dun dun. Of
Steve, are you listening to this?
Yeah. Oh yeah. H3H3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So here's what happened, y'all. Apparently, back in I mentioned this in an episode where I got catfished.
Yeah.
But I did a show about catfishing people.
Yeah,
Heard of it.
you did.
So let's talk about the show first.
Yeah, let's talk about the show.
Let's talk
first.
about
What
the
was
show.
First of all, I'm not going to go into all the details, but suffice it to say, it's one of those things. It's like just super embarrassing. And they said I was going to be funny, and it was going to be funny. And at the time, I needed money because I was fresh off of a divorce. And so I did this pilot, and it just kept getting more and more serious. And then more and more
you were like, it is taking a turn.
It's taking a bad turn.
I was there during
yeah.
the time, and he said it was taking a very
Yeah.
bad turn.
It'll never see the light of day.
Exactly.
We're fine.
That's what he
Exactly.
thought,
We're
too.
fine.
It'll never be seen. Yeah.
Like, of course, it gets.
Wait, can you tell him what the pilot was?
You got to talk about it.
Oh, absolutely.
Because
It's-
Ethan totally is talking about it. So you have to.
Oh, I will gladly talk about it.
I can't wait.
I did a show before I was catfished by an actual person. No, hit it.
You want to hear? Okay, I was just trying to.
So before I was catfished by an actual human being who turned out to be a felon after a couple dates and had over 20 mugshots, during which I told her about a pilot I did for TLC about catfishing people called I Catfished My Kid. So basically, Ethan just did this video where he doesn't know it's me at all. Oh, you want to hit that?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Here it is.
Jesus Christ. Too dramatic.
Yeah, it's pretty dramatic.
I'll figure it out.
But you're right. That's maybe what they used to lure the kids into the van or whatever. But so anyway, I did this pilot. I'm getting made fun of for it. It's very funny, very embarrassing, and I'm having a good time. But it's my followers are bumping up, which is nice, I guess. And that's like the one
But now
positive element.
they're like, hey, we're bumping up, but also, aren't you that guy from that thing?
Yeah,
where you-
it's the whole like.
Are you dramatic in it? Are you serious in it?
I think they think I am, and they definitely got takes of me doing that. But every time I was like, "Can I do one where like I'm not just, like heavy-handed?" And they really leaned into the heavy-handedness.
And they're like, no, we'll use
And,
the one that
yeah,
you look like
and they
here.
and whatever. It's I shouldn't have done it, and it is what it is. But I needed money, and so I did it. And yeah, and so but now it's like so like I love Ethan, and I'm sure it's hilarious. I can't bring myself to watch it, but I think they're like making fun of the wardrobe that I have because there's like a zipper on the sleeve. It's all very funny.
no.
It's funny,
Yeah.
like it's
Oh,
really
no.
funny. But the funny part is the kid that I catfished.
Okay, so a little bit more world building because I feel like we're jumping between we're juggling a lot of balls here, and I just want to make sure everybody knows what's going on.
Yeah.
You did a show when you needed to make some money that was going to be funny called I Catfished My Kid,
Yeah.
It
which
was
was
on
about
TLC.
you and parents teaming up to
Catfish
catfish
the
kids
Catfish
and make
kids,
them
yeah.
learn a lesson, essentially.
Yeah,
correct?
essentially.
It's a complex premise, but yeah, that's
And it's
pretty much it.
It's like
I guess if you
as
yeah.
far as shows go.
if you want to try to bottle up my art,
no, it sounds like they did that for you.
yeah, and they
As
shipped
far
it
as shows go, this is like as clickbaity as they get.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
you went in thinking it was going to be funny, which is what they pitched to you, and then they made it like a dramatic TLC piece of shit.
yeah.
And it was never going to see the light of day, and then it
And
was
then
released.
It aired on TLC, and then I did this tweet like this is like beginning of 2017, I think, and I was in the woods with my dad, and then the first wave came, and I was like, oh shit, that thing I did,
It's out.
I was like, they did it to me, and then my dad was like, oh, it's kind of cool, you're on TV, and I was like, that's not the silver
That's
lining.
not the
I was like, that's not the silver lining is that one day we all die, and so. Yeah, and then this
And that'll be nice and calm.
Yeah.
and that'll be good and calm compared
That'll feel
to
good.
Your
this feeling.
followers will bump.
I
yeah.
catfished my existence.
Yeah, and so anyway, then
So
like
that was
a
first
year and a half
wave.
later, they uploaded out of nowhere to the effing internet, and I was like, here we go, man. I was like, there's no way
Yeah.
that this is gonna stay quiet. I was like, it's gonna blow up, and it's gonna get made fun of, and it should get made fun of, by the way. But
And
anyway,
then today, like literally 2 hours ago,
Dude. And
H3H3 dropped a like an evisceration, we're assuming, of the episode without
Right.
knowing
yeah,
that Elliott
Is in it.
is
met
in it
Ethan like 6 weeks ago,
and was in
or
a
2 months
show
ago.
with him.
Oh, so
on
Ethan-
Smosh, like
Oh.
3
Ethan
months,
has no
4 months
idea
ago.
it's me.
Oh, so he doesn't recognize you.
Right. And which makes sense because I look different, but we also met once at this
You guys
Smosh thing. And so and we
You on a game
and
show
of course,
together.
yeah, and like I like Ethan, like I think it's very funny, and it should be made fun. But anyway, it's just like it's just a fascinating world. It's just a
That's
fascinating.
definitely not it.
Yeah, man. Can I just for conversational pieces, because I do think people think that show is probably a little bit more fascinating than you're giving it credit. What was the weirdest thing that happened on the shoot? What's the most memorable thing that happened on that shoot that you care to talk
when
about?
I realized that they were staging everything and trying to hide it from me.
Oh, you were the mark.
You got
Yeah,
catfish.
I was like, when I realized
There it
By
is.
the
that
show.
it was staged, and I looked at them and was like, why didn't you just tell me?
Danny DeVito.
God, no, Joe.
What?
Guys, we have one of our favorite sponsors of all time. Ooh, MeUndies. Ugh, God,
I am wearing
love-
MeUndies right now.
Are you? Which ones are you wearing?
The Halloween ones.
Oh my God.
Andy too.
You wearing
Are
the
you?
Halloween ones?
No, I wore those
Oh.
yesterday. It'd be bad if I was wearing. I'm wearing the basketball ones.
It wouldn't be
so
bad if
cute.
as long as they're clean.
I'm gonna be honest. Delman has a few pair of MeUndies, and he literally calls them his lucky panties now.
Aw.
He's like, those are my lucky because they're so comfortable. He's like, these are my lucky
They're
panties.
his brampy panties.
They're his brampy panties. Okay, so you guys have heard us obsess over and over about MeUndies, the amazing colors, the amazing prints, everything they have to offer. Did you know that MeUndies also now makes the world's most comfortable lounge pants and tees? Fall's finally here, and now the
Awama.
perfect time to put on these cozy essentials is now. The lounge pants are made from the same micromodal fabric that the undies are, the ones that we love so much. So it's just going to be soft as can be. You're going to fall into heaven on when it covers your entire bottom, baby. Also, they have really cute things like jack-o'-lanterns, and they have socks and bralettes. And for ladies, bralettes are the most comfortable things in the entire world. Just holding those chest sacks so sweet and tight.
I'm gonna
It's
try
real
it.
nice.
I'm gonna
You
try 'em.
should try
I'm
them.
gonna
I
try
think
a
you'd like
bralette.
them a
Thing,
lot.
you're always reading the copy verbatim. I'm surprised that they went with that terminology.
It's very true. But the best part is when you join the membership, you can get all this stuff, lounge pants, tees, undies, everything MeUndies makes for less than anyone else. Special membership pricing is just one of the many perks of the membership. You have 100% satisfaction guarantee when you're going to love these undies. But if you're not into it, MeUndies will do whatever they can to get you into the right pair. And if they can't, they'll completely refund you. It's risk-free.
Oh,
It's
baby.
risk-free.
Danny DeVito.
Of the most Danny DeVito comfortable underwear of all times. MeUndies has a great offer for our listeners, for any first-time purchasers.
Listen
when
up.
you purchase any MeUndies, you get 15% off and free shipping.
Hell yeah.
Guys, it's a no-brainer. You get 15% off a pair and the most comfortable undies you're ever going to have. Period. All right? So, to get your 50%, but I'm going to do it right. Yeah, absolutely. To get your 15% off your first pair and free shipping and 100% satisfaction guaranteed, you're going to go to MeUndies.com
Yeah, you are, baby.
/Valley. That's MeUndies.com/Valley. And again,
that's where I want to
they
go.
are heaven on your body.
MeUndies. Make love to your junk.
Ladies, get your panties and get your lady
see
chests
if I
up
just-
high and tight.
Danny
and
DeVito.
doing it right.
Okay, that's it.
Check.
That's enough.
And yeah, still being made fun of by the end.
Okay, great. Good.
I've been living in an empty home since I'd say April of this year, and
Technically May,
and it's the
but that's okay.
first time in my life I've ever lived alone,
Yeah.
and it was wonderful.
Yeah.
He says was.
It was wonderful.
It was.
And
Yeah.
You're also an adult man, and living alone is a wonderful thing.
yeah, the thing is like you know, I've been criticized in the past, if you will, for being the type of person that, like, quote unquote, you know, needs to have people around, codependent, you know, someone like that. But I think it's, I think the more that I discover about myself in therapy and in my own self-reflection and such, I've come to discover that I'm just the kind of person that thrives on, you know, other people being around almost all the time in my life. And there's nothing fucking wrong with that.
No, I'm the kind of I'm the opposite, and I don't think there's anything fucking
There
wrong
is
with
zero
it.
wrong
I
with
love
it.
no one.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No. Mm-mm.
But yeah, no, I've just come to realize that I, as much as I enjoyed living alone for that amount of time, I've inherited a William Haynes.
Can you get rid of it? I heard that it's around for
they're
months.
very hard to get rid of.
It just
Very
came
hard.
out of nowhere,
Yeah.
and it is going. I have a
You're gonna-
feeling I'm gonna
some
need to wash the
sacrifices.
carpet.
You're gonna
You are.
purchase like 3 or 4 bombs to get rid of him.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure.
Yeah.
But Will,
You might have to actually call the landlord. It might have to be the whole thing.
Yeah.
Will lives with me. Will is living with me once again. Will and I lived together like 3 times now, like 3
Wow.
separate times. Will came to basically live with me when I was getting divorced, when I was initially separated and getting divorced from my wife.
When you
And
did
helped
that
me through
Catfish.
some very lonely times, by
Yeah.
the way. So I
Yeah.
very much appreciated that, and some really hard times. And then Darren and Will and Sam and I all moved into a house
I
together.
remember that.
Remember
And that was just
That was
like
insanity.
we
It
were
was
all.
pure
I think
They didn't have any forks.
Visited
Mhm.
once.
I went.
Really?
I went a couple times, and every time I went, there was no forks.
Actually, we had too many forks.
No,
That
both
was
of the
problem
times I
with that.
went, there
These are
was
conflicting
0
stories.
forks.
Yeah.
I will say that
Leave mine.
we were all bachelors at one point in that house,
Mm-hmm.
so it was a bachelor
It
pad.
was an 80s
Just
movie of an
farts,
experience.
stinky
It was
farts.
just like absolute chaos for a time, and it was very fun, and it was a very interesting experience to
Did
say the
you,
least.
as a bachelor pad person, did you feel like people were bringing home like and living that like the quintessential?
No, because we
stereotypical
weren't really like as much as we were all kind of like uniquely, we all had our own game in our own ways. None of us really fit the like bringing home ladies every
Yeah.
night game model. Like none of us were really like that. Like we're all kind of like, even though we're all socially
But it was like
capable
playing Mario
men,
Kart for 8.5 hours into the
yeah,
night.
yeah.
And it
I
was
mean,
like a nobody
sometimes
does the dishes situation.
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a terrible.
Gross.
It was a terrible living situation, but we all made do. And then eventually, it was like we all couldn't stand each other anymore. So some people moved out, and then I moved out of to my own place where I moved in with Owen, and then Owen lived with me for a time, and then moved out, and then so I lived alone for a bit, and now Will's back with
So
me.
this is part 3?
This is
part 3. Yeah.
This is
your-
we can all agree that I mean, no one ever likes the 4th version of any movie, right? So
Well,
this is the final in the chapter.
Lethal
I'm trying to
Weapon
think
4.
of if there's a-
Lethal Weapon 4 was not bad.
But it was
Maybe,
so
what was the
many years
4th
afterwards.
Nightmare on Elm Street? Was that a good one?
I don't know.
I believe
What about the
the
4th Harry Potter?
Well,
No,
that's a
the
6.
third
That's
Harry
again.
Potter
Remember,
was-
that's 6. So it's not like I'm saying
Aliens
in a
4
quartet.
is-
or
Alien 4 is pretty cool.
It's better than Aliens
Jean-Pierre
3, and-
Jeunet directed
And
that.
right now, you're in the David Fincher directed Aliens 3 version of
Oh,
your and Will's
turds.
living relationship.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
are.
I think Transformers 4, they really turned it around.
The
Yeah,
last
yeah,
night? Is that the
absolutely,
last night?
yeah.
I don't know what that is.
And the 4th Hellraiser is really
Again,
really,
you're doing a lot of horror stories, so you know.
House
the
4.
4th Godfather. What is that? Is that how's that?
Is that-
The 4th Star Trek?
uh-huh.
Isn't it all the even numbered
Oh,
Star Treks are
Superman
good?
4?
Superman 4.
Superman
yeah,
4.
yeah.
You know, but I'm
Um,
saying
Anyway,
then you're gonna
Fantastic Four.
The Fantastic Four.
I
The
do not
4th
think-
Fantastic
have to. Fourth
Four.
Fantastic Four.
now you guys are just naming movies that have had the 4th Fantastic.
Too Fast, 4 Furious.
4 years, yeah. It's actually Too Fast, Too Furious.
Too Furious, yeah. Too-phoria.
Too Furious.
So anyway, the point I'm trying to get to is that I lived alone for a little bit, and it was nice. I got to walk around in my underwear. Not like I don't do that already when people are around, but it was nice. It was a little too quiet for me, and a little unsettling for me in the evening hours when it was like, all
Sure.
right, well, here I go into my lonely bedroom
Just
and
by
lonely.
myself.
Yeah, so but Will's back. Will is living with me now, and basically Alana is with me all the time now too. So it's like I have this like full house of people.
You have a little family. You're
I have a little family.
You're a
like
sitcom.
Alana and I are the parents
Yeah,
of
for
Will,
sure.
yeah,
basically.
you guys are
Yeah.
a sitcom.
Yeah, yeah, it's really fun, and it's really I miss it.
You're
I'm having
black
a
in
good
action.
time. Yeah, I am black in action. Yeah, that's exactly what I am. But I'm also faced with the problem that I've had for quite some time, which is I'm a collector. I
You
collect
are.
a lot of
people's
stuff.
poop, and
I
now
co-
there's so much.
Now I have 3 different people's poop to choose from.
No, you are a collector, but you
I'm a
have
collector,
so many
and I have
things
so many
now.
things, and I came from basically like a 3-bedroom condo
Yeah.
way back in the day to now like a 2-bedroom apartment, and so it's like I have all of that shit and a storage unit with a bunch of shit in it. But it's like now Will's living with me, so all of Will's stuff is at my place. And I already was in shambles. So like, and Elliott and I have talked about this, but I'm trying to figure out a way to declutter, also keep my style and my my collectibles, my posters, things like that. But, you know, practically in a way that's, you know, because even in the state that it's in, I wouldn't say in the state it currently is in, because right now it's the messiest I think it's ever been because of Will's stuff and my stuff. And but even in the state that it was in like a month or so ago, people who had never come over before would be like, this place is like a fun house. This is crazy. Like they like all the stuff. It's just a little too wild for me.
Cluttered.
Yeah, I think it's literally just it's like the potential for your apartment and how cool it could be and immersive it could be is so much higher than where it's at.
Yeah, you're like a violin prodigy, but like you just refuse.
I don't have
to
the right
practice.
violin.
Or
I don't have a violin.
Or you're just drowning in violins and you can't play one of them.
Yeah. And there's no room to play the violin
because of all the other violins.
All the other violins. Yeah,
man.
So I just need to like I'm in a place in my life right now where I want to declutter. I want to clean up. I want to make that place like the highest potential of fun and nice and stylish. I want a nice combination of style, function,
you know what
and
you should,
personality.
You should think about is lighting. I feel like you could have a lot of fun with lighting and start doing
LA is real bad about places. No lights.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I like that. What's that lighting that's like built into the ceiling?
Recessed
lighting.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that, but it's an apartment, so
Even
I can't really do that.
lights that go like if you wanted to make
Hey, you
it
could do,
kind
like,
of
the
a
Nest light.
nerd
My bedroom
mecca.
has a hue light. One of those things where you
Yeah,
can,
you
like,
can do a bunch of those though,
change the
all
colors
around,
and stuff,
You just
yeah.
go, Siri,
It's just
change
that
it to
would
blue.
Fire pit. You could have a fire pit.
Well, I do have I have
You
a
gotta have a
fireplace.
fireplace.
I have a fireplace.
I'm talking a fire pit right in the middle.
He wants a
right in the
fireplace.
Oh,
right in the
that's gonna break a lot of codes.
middle. No.
But yeah, I'm in a weird place where I want to
I'm
like
burning alive.
I want to do this. I know this place is like such
It
a
is
fine
so-
line
it
between
is-
freezing fucking
it
cold
vacillates between
and hot
literally
as fuck.
hell, or you're like, oh, it's so. I'm burning.
There's
alive.
also 5 bodies in this small
It's so
room,
hot.
so yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, I'm just in this place where I'm trying to figure out how to like declutter.
Have you
like
ever
where do I
read
even
the
start?
KonMari book?
Like what do I do? Like,
KonMari
where do
book-
I even begin?
There's a book you can read if you would ever want to.
Oh, I don't have room for that.
Okay, got it.
I got an idea. Oh. You got to clear it out. You got to clear out room by room,
Yeah.
and you got to.
I think that's it.
It's just like
Clear out
garbage
the-
bag.
Section by section, room
Yeah.
by
and
room,
then you
and
look
then you
at the
do
living room.
absolutely keep,
You absolutely keep.
absolutely throw
Absolutely
away,
throw away.
donate.
Donate.
But you look at the room and you go, this is what feels good here. This is what feels good here. You could even I've Googled like that feng shui stuff just to have some kind of a guide of where to put stuff. I don't believe in any
But
of
you
it,
gotta
but
get
it's
rid of a
cool.
lot of shit
It's
first.
like oh, you put this
Yeah,
in.
I have a lot of things to get rid of, and the thing is like there's a lot of things I don't want to get rid of too. Like
Yeah, of course.
I have so many things that I like cherish. And I hold a lot of sentimental value, and there's things that I just like. You know, I'm a fucking.
But
That's
there's
what that
ways to
storage
display
closet-
that.
Pack
no,
rat.
but there's
Yeah,
ways to
storage.
display that. And then, so KonMari wrote this book of the art-changing life of tidying up, I think is what it's called. And she literally like goes through, it was a really big craze back in the day. My brother's done it, and a bunch of people I know have done it. And you literally look at the item and you say, does this bring me joy? Does this like, is this sentimental, or like, and you kind of decide with that item, like there's clothes, like if you haven't worn a shirt in 3 months or 5 months, toss it. You know, it's like things like that where you just.
I
But it's
know,
also
I
there's
know.
those. I think sometimes it helps with guidelines because at least you look at the thing and you go, oh well, I'm gonna wear that. It's like, well, no, I haven't. In a year and a half, I haven't worn that shirt. This
Yeah.
thing still has this on it. So you do those, and it helps with the guidelines for the tidying up. So then you go, okay, like I'm gonna donate it. It's gonna be this. Like we do a lot where it's like, oh, you're gonna sell it. It's like, well, are you? Because unless you're going to right now go and put it on eBay or whatever, then don't. Then
I
you
just like it's so tedious. It's like I'm gonna have to take days off
I
of
think-
work
yeah.
for this.
See,
I
I
feel
think
like
you
like
have-
there's
but
no
if you hire
time.
someone, you can hire professional organizers, and then you just sit on your ass, and you go, they hold up a 17th Hawaiian shirt and go, what about this one? And you go,
Really, I can
"Oh."
actually hire
Oh
someone to
yeah,
do that.
you could totally hire a professional
Also,
cleaner to do
I
that.
mean,
Not
if-
cleaner, but like an organizer.
If you don't want to do that, you can also just take it like a shelf at a time. It doesn't have to be like all or nothing.
That was the point that I was going to make. I think what's keeping you from going isn't like, I
You
don't
get
want to get rid of my
overwhelmed.
stuff. You have a
Yeah.
daunting,
It's so
you have a
overwhelming.
daunting
Yeah.
task in front of you, so you need to like micromanage it. And I have the perfect spot for you to start. It's that corner right
With
when
all the
you
fucking
walk
comic
in
books.
Yeah.
with 20 boxes
Yeah.
that are unopened of free comics that you got. Clean that corner. Just
Yeah.
get
All
rid
you
of them.
have to do
Donate them,
is
and you'll
literally
see
go-
that, and you'll go, oh, this is better. And
What
then
if
you'll
you had
start
a
to
yard
continue to do
sale at
that.
the end of it?
See, I want to do that, but I just don't have a yard.
That's
I don't
fine.
know where to
It's
have it.
LA. People do it on the corner of shit all the time. What are you kidding?
Just do it right below your balcony.
Yeah.
And I think you could also start with like a deep cleaning, not to like say that your place is dirty. I don't know what level of cleanliness it is, but if you
It
start,
could use a deep cleaning.
if you did do that, you would have like a psychological, like it would feel like you're already
Yeah.
improving.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah,
like then
Oh.
you'd have clear countertops and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, really
Look,
want
I'll
that.
come over, but I need to be hired.
I really want that.
Hire
yeah.
Lee.
You can hire me, and I will yell at you if you're keeping anything
Will you work
insane.
for like Cheez-Its or
No, I'm on keto right now, but I will work for cheese.
cheese? Okay, great. We'll
Yeah.
we'll just bring a charcuterie. How about that?
Keto.
Yeah.
Furniture that helps you organize will help as well. So
Oh,
when
yeah.
you get Lee or somebody over, like get a couple things that give you places to put things. Get some of those like hanging closet
Shelves and
organizers,
things
some
like that,
shelves, and
yeah.
stuff like that.
Shelves.
Because once you have a
What are
home
those
for
things called?
everything,
Shelves?
Shelves.
it'll help.
Yeah.
Whatever you call 'em.
You don't have a home for anything in your apartment right now. Right now, the home is the floor, and then whatever's on top of that thing on the floor. Give things homes, and that'll give you a reason
And then you
to
can
start
you have so
organizing
many
things.
cool things that need to be on display.
I know.
Do you hear how badly all of us are just like, yeah, we're gonna get to the
Wait,
bottom.
hold
We're
on.
gonna
Hear me out. Hear me
we're gonna
out.
solve
I
this
know I
problem.
want this so bad, and
Hear
I
me
think
out. What
I
if-
yeah.
What if we did an Out Yonder segment and we hired a professional organizer and we just went over there and tore your shit up?
That was my original idea. That's why I brought it up.
I mean,
was
I
like,
think
get
we-
an
That's an
interior
original
designer.
idea.
I think why don't we just do it? Let's do it.
Okay, great. And then we can show off all your cool things. And
Yeah,
that's
that's
cool
nice.
too
That's
because they
nice.
are really cool things.
Yeah.
But we just go to IKEA, get a bunch of shelves,
Yeah.
and then do it.
Well,
Yeah.
you guys just give me a couple hours to hide all my dominatrix stuff and like all my
I will
toys
not.
and my.
And you know what?
Why do you wanna hide
need
it?
a home for
Yeah.
those too.
I
So
do
we
need a
just
home
got
for
to get you a
those. I
home.
do, yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
It'll be
Right
like-
now they're in the crawl space, so
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
their home.
We'll get a shelving unit that you can unzip like a GIMP mask. It'll be
Oh,
great.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
That's so thoughtful, Joe.
Guys, I gotta talk about something really
What
important.
do you got?
What's up, Elliot?
What you got, baby?
I would like to talk to you guys about Gabi.
Oh,
Gabi is your insurance concierge,
Oh,
folks.
yeah.
All right.
Oh, hello.
They're your online broker who compares all of your insurance options to find you the right policy, all in under 2 minutes. And guess what? I tried it myself, and it works, and it's wonderful.
Did you save monies?
Actually, yeah.
Hell yeah.
I did. I saved. I got a better option.
Hell
Set it
yeah.
and forget it with Gabi. So you shouldn't have to worry about insurance. With Gabi, now you don't have to. In under 2 minutes, they do the research. They scour all the
So
available
nice.
options, and they make sure they get you the best policy for your individual circumstance. This is very true. They have an average savings of $720 per year for more than 60% of their customers. In 2/3 of the cases, they find a better insurance solution for customers. That is definitely how it was with mine. Also, there's no spam ever. For real, they're super thorough, and
So
they're
nice.
Email
insurance-
or meet.
Yep. They're your insurance concierge for life. They're a licensed insurance broker in all 50 states, and they're in the relationship business, folks. That's why they think of it like a concierge, someone that you know and gets to know your needs better and better over time.
That is really
They're
nice.
gonna hold your
very
hand
cool.
through a complicated
Wow.
process.
Basically, it's free, it's helpful, it'll help you save money. These are my favorite types of some of my favorite types of services that
Yeah,
we talk
right?
about are just the ones where it's like, this is free and it save you money. And
Yeah.
so you go to gabi.com/valley to give it a try. That's GABI.com/VALLEY, gabi.com/valley. And yeah, that's that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes our talk today.
I have been on a weird little mission. The last couple weeks, it feels a little down, feels a little discouraging. There's a lot of stuff happening news-wise and people-wise that just makes you want to crawl into a little hole, close it up, and just go to sleep forever.
I'm actually fully unaware of what you're talking about.
You know what? Now, what could
put
you
a pin in this real
possibly?
fast?
Can you cite an example?
I would love an EG. I would love an EG. Yeah, so it's been a difficult couple of weeks. You guys have all been there for that. Just like with the discouragement of, discouraging, just all the horribleness. So I've been on a weird mission, and I know it's so ridiculous, but I've been trying to, if I go through the internet, trying to find positive things instead of negative things. Because they do. Oh, this is good. This is really good. Because things follow you. You know how you look through it and it's just, I don't know about you, but I can see my mood disintegrating when I go through Twitter and Facebook and any of those things. I can just see myself getting overwhelmed. So I've been trying to go on a thing
Outside.
of going on a walk outside, or just literally, if I'm going to watch something, I will within the first 5 seconds, only in the last couple of weeks, be like, if this isn't positive, I'm done.
That's
if it
called,
isn't,
securing
like
your
that.
mental health,
Yeah.
baby.
yeah, and
That's
it really
great.
is. It's self-preservation. It's self-care in a weird way, but it is because I keep going I don't want an infographic. I don't want any of this. I don't want any insane horrible story. So if it isn't this, I'm just gonna leave it alone. I just can't anymore, because for me it literally is the perfect word I think is eroding. It's literally eroding my heart. It's eroding my soul. It's eroding my happiness. So that being said, I mean, it's not like I'm trying to get away from it all, because I plan on totally taking down the entire world. But for right now,
with this knife.
With this knife. But for right now, it is the thing that I'm trying to pull back from. Today was a really good example. There's a beautiful video.
Justin's dream wasn't just to run, but run fast. Despite his disability, he can do a 7-minute mile and now competes with the University of Oregon Running Club. All that put him on Nike's radar. This past weekend, at the end of a practice run, a company representative made a surprise announcement. Justin would be signed as an official Nike professional athlete.
A runner with cerebral palsy just got the first ever contract from Nike to be a professional runner.
So cool.
And the
So
video, I saw it online, and I started, and I was like, okay, this is going to be a positive one, so I'll give it a go. And this morning I was openly weeping in my house, literally just just full openly weeping, because it was so good. And then there's a part in the video where, I mean, it's not a spoiler, you're gonna watch it anyways because it's delightful, but where the guy is talking to his family, and she just says, the mom just goes, see, good things happen. And it was such a weird thing that hit me so hard of see, good things happen. Then I was like, oh, that's what I need to start focusing on, of good things happen. Plenty of good things are happening.
I feel like the Muppets are a good way to kind of get
such
that
a good
too. Any
way.
Muppet thing is pretty good.
It's
Good
pretty
feeling.
good.
You know what I call
Good
it,
feeling.
Lee? I call it
Positives.
focusing. I call it focusing on the light. You can imagine that. Let's just say it's mostly darkness, right?
Yeah.
There's a veil of darkness in front of you, but within it, almost like a starscape, there's little pinholes
Totally.
that make their way through, and that it may not be the first thing that catches your eye, and you might have to look for it a little bit, but when you do, you can focus on it, and that little bit of brightness, that little bit of warmth, that little bit of effort to find it is worth the
It goes
time,
so
because
far.
it will also it'll outshine the darkness.
Well, and there's even just that weird thing where she's like, see, good things happen. I was like, oh shit, that is such a thing. I don't focus on the wonderful things that are happening in our lives. Steve did a song a couple weeks ago on Your World Today that was what was it? What'd you call it?
It was
Good
it
news
was
song.
like a good
It was a
news
good news
song.
song,
Yeah,
and it was so delightful. It was so sweet.
It was like a sister to Joe's feeling.
It was
good
like
Yeah.
you
you
straight up stole
yeah,
my
that's
thing
nice.
and just put it to a musical track.
And
But
use different words.
that was a moment.
Oh yeah, because you're
where-
the first person ever to say something good on the internet.
You know what I got to say to that?
Okay.
You're right.
But it was one of those that was a really beautiful moment where you guys didn't get to see, but we're all sitting there watching Steve, and all of us had a smile plastered on our face.
Yeah,
all
that
of
was
us were
beautiful.
watching it and super happy. It was so delightful. It was so sweet. So that's my journey for the next couple weeks, where there is a lot of things that are going to be really frustrating, and there's a lot of things, and still gather your dragons and prepare for a fight, but they all also really try and focus on the things, because I don't know about everyone else, but it is eroding me hard, and it's one of those things that can kind of take over. And Big Mouth season 2 is a really good thing, and
Oh,
it
it's
talks
making me
about
laugh
it. God, it's so
constantly.
good. But there's a real fun concept in it where depression takes over the little girl, and that is literally how it feels. It feels like you kind of just walk into a weird hole and depression just takes over, and in a weird way you're like, this feels great to be super depressed and super whatever. But that's going to be my it's cathartic. You feel like you're like, I'm alone in this, and that's fine.
It's a vicious cycle of like
vicious cycle. So just look on the internet is bombarding, it is everywhere. So, if it's not a positive, don't do it.
Well, in the spirit of positivity, I think what I'd like to do now is just read some of the comments on the h3h3 video.
I was literally like, there's no way this is actually going to be positive.
Yeah, if that's okay, Elliott.
Yeah, I'd love if you did.
Oh, please,
Yeah, I would love
please.
to do that if that's okay. Here we go. Okay, so let me play some music here for that. Rest
Go
in
down a
peace.
little bit.
Oh, sorry.
because I want to be able to hear you. Baby.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Elliott Morgan. I liked him on SourceFed, but you either die a hero or live long enough to become cringy.
That's good. That's
Or
good.
Shit,
you
I
should
ha-
just say, look at the Valleyfolk. Say the
That one made me feel
Valleyfolk.com.
kind of bad, though.
Shit, I had
I'll see
higher
how-
hopes for Elliott Morgan. Oh well.
You gotta go through this and be like
No,
the
I see him.
Valleyfolk.com.
That's
I
fine,
see
yeah.
him deteriorating.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
here's
keep
a-
it going. Keep it
here's
going. I'm
one.
good right now. I'm
Y'all
good.
leave Elliott alone.
Oh,
There's
that's
one.
nice.
That's nice.
That one
Elliott,
doesn't have a punchline? I'm disappointed that there's no punch. Is that the end of that comment?
Elliott Morgan put on blast. Nice to see SourceFed host getting along well.
Okay. All right. I don't know
Rest
if that was
in peace,
facetious.
I feel
Elliott
like
Morgan.
this says that's not Elliott Morgan. That was one.
Do you guys want to read what I said to Ethan?
Yeah,
Yeah.
please.
I said,
Oh my God, I love it.
this is guy I've talked to twice in my life. I said, so apparently you mentioned a terrible pilot I did for TLC. I did that after my divorce, and I was like, guess I'll do this for cash. And anyway, bottom line, roast away. We do dumb stuff. And I fired my representation after that, and life got better. If you, this is my last line. If you want to chat more, I'll be in my van. Just hop on in.
Really good.
Speaking of positivity,
Oh, and they-
speaking of treasure troves, speaking of free T-shirts, do you guys like monthly gifts?
Oh, I do. I do like monthly
Are
gifts.
you talking about like a monthly birthday or a monthly Christmas?
I might be talking about like
Oh.
imagine if Christmas happened once a month all year long.
I would not be able to handle the joy and love. Just blood starts coming.
Oh no, little
You guys
angel.
like Christmas bumps?
Oh, I love Christmas
Yeah,
bumps.
year-long Christmas bumps. Well, you can get them with Loot Crate.
Oh, it's so true.
Yeah, in the form of your favorite comic books, movies, video games, and superheroes. They'll come to your door and they'll drop a box of that stuff every single month. What is Loot Crate?
What is it?
Oh, well,
It's a treasure.
It's just
It's a treasure
it's just
trove.
a
What is
treat
it?
on your doorstep every
That's right.
month.
It's a monthly subscription box delivered direct to your door with exclusive pop culture collectibles, apparel, and gear. Loot Crate curates, designs, does all of it themselves, and you can't find these items anywhere else.
That's
No
true.
matter what you geek out about.
Got a killer
For you.
Spock shirt once. Keep going.
We just got a package collectively together, and Steve and I were very happy with some of the things that came in it. I got a cool alien pin. You got that cool alien sculpture.
Yeah, I love it. It's like an alien walking a face hugger, and it's very
So
like
cute.
cartoony.
Yeah,
Like,
right
I
next
love
to
the
a fire
style.
hydrant.
It's really cute.
Yeah, and the face hugger's peeing on a fire hydrant.
And then you got
It's very cute.
the Predator bandana. Anyways, that was cool, and it's
Yeah.
it's exciting. Like in every month, you're going to get a box of that type of stuff curated by them. In every box, there's a T-shirt every month that is not
true.
found anywhere else.
Oh, that's so nice.
Their original and most popular Loot Crate is curated collection of items from only the best pop culture franchises every month. We're talking the real deal with the likes of DC, Marvel, Blizzard, Harry Potter, Nickelodeon, WWE, Fallout, and many more. There's like something for everybody.
Yeah,
depending
man.
on the
It's
month.
It's good stuff.
So if you want that, you should order up now. This month, and you should do this now because it's going to sell out. Order by this week, and you will get this month's special box.
Ooh.
Get the best surprises every month from the largest geek and gaming subscription company, Geek Out in Style with Loot Crate. Subscribe now. Go to lootcrate.com/Valley and enter the code Valley to save an exclusive 30% off your
30%.
subscription.
30.
That is
30.
30% off your subscription by going to lootcrate.com/Valley and enter the code Valley.
You can also, that kind of relates to what Lee was talking about, because if you're having a bad day and you come home and there's a box of cool goodies
Honestly,
on
I
your
was
doorstep,
just
that's always
gonna
nice.
say
Very
that.
nice. What a positive
There is
spin.
It's a
nothing
pick-me-up.
better than just literally coming home and being like, what treasure did I get?
Mm-hmm.
And just like not expect. It's so nice.
I was going to talk about depression and mental health as well a little bit,
good.
based on the fact that I did this to myself recently. If you're just listening, I'm holding up my wrist brace on my left hand because I broke my hand in softball. I was sliding into second, looked really good. I was
I bet
safe.
it was cool.
I think I
It
scored. It didn't. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I was fine, and I was fine for weeks, and then it started to get a little worse, and I was like, what's going on? So I go to the doctor. I find out that I got some microfractures. No surgery. That's good. But as you guys know, I've been hobbling around with my arm in this brace for the last week. So I'm giving it a chance to heal. But what I'm finding is I am depressed because
You're
of
a
it.
physical dude.
There's a lot of things going on in my life, as you guys know, and we don't have to dive deep into all the other stuff. But right now, this immobilization of my hand, I am discovering, is making me incredibly unhappy. Not because it's hurt, but because I feel like I'm not myself. I feel like I've been robbed of a thing that I didn't realize I self-identify with as much as I do. I've always been told I was
Your
like...
bones.
Yeah, my bones. They're me.
You're talking about your bones.
I'm talking about my physicality.
No bones about it.
I'm talking about my ability to use my body to express myself, to
Also just
exercise,
lifting
and to live.
You have children. Yeah.
But it's just who I am. Like, as a comedian, I've always been told, or in improv and stuff like that, they're like, "You're the physical guy."
Yeah.
Joe, you're so good at physical comedy. And like, quite honestly, I hated it for a while because I was like, I'm more than that, and I was an insecurity about my mental
Physical's
capabilities.
great though. Physical comedy is really
But
hard.
now that I can't do things with my body, it's like tearing me apart. It's making me very sad and angry, and I get frustrated at things like I'm barely able to do the dishes or pick up my kids or
Yeah.
stuff like that. Properly act in the videos that we make. I feel like I'm not myself, so it's like it's messing with my gray stuff. So I wanted to ask you guys, what are the things about yourself in your life? It doesn't have to be a physical thing like me. It can
That
be
you
something you do
hate.
that
Yeah.
when it's taken away from you, you feel like you are not yourself anymore. And it affects you in that type of way. You may not even know it until it's gone. So for me, again, this physicality, another thing as of recent in the last 2 years because of outside factors, I love performing live. And I haven't done it really at Comedy Sports for 2 years because I've had to go to the side and have other priorities take that place. And that's also been weighing on me. I feel like that's something that I self-identified with, and it's a way that I felt like I affected the world. And it was very hard for me for like a year that I was not doing it. I'm better with it now, and I hope to get back to it someday. But yeah, little things. What are the little things that mess you up?
I was going through a pretty dark time recently with medication
Yeah,
changes.
you did.
I was trying out different medication for anxiety and all that, the depression and all that stuff
Which
going on in my brain. And
This week was World Mental Health Day, and
Yeah.
so I always think it's great because I will say, I'll take a side note and always applaud Steve for being very open and honest about it. That's one of
you.
my favorite things about you is that you talk about it so candidly, and I think that needs to happen a lot more. And you're like,
Yeah.
I'm on medication. There's nothing wrong with that.
it's just part of who I am.
Yeah.
I've realized that, this weird anxiety thing that I have, this panic disorder, this depression, whatever, it's just a part of who I am. And it's scary to think about how it's like I'll never fully be rid of it. And I don't think anybody really can be. I mean, but you can definitely control it, and you could definitely find happiness in your life and work around the hardships that things like anxiety and depression can bring. But yeah, I was going through a real tough time with medicine change, with like trying out some new medicines and stuff, and it like really made me feel
That's
like
messing with your chemical balance.
yeah, and it's
Yeah.
just like I was just not myself. I was sad. I was
very
like
scary.
angry. I was like
Yeah.
quiet. I was
Yeah.
like mood swingy, and like I hated it.
You're
I-
tired constantly.
yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
feel like myself. I felt like I was like lagged. I felt like my
Yes,
body
you were
was
buffering.
lagged.
You were
and-
literally a buffering baby.
yeah, it was like my body moved this way, and then my brain caught up like a few seconds later, and it was just kind of like not fun and not good. And I
They
didn't
always
like
do
that
those
at
like
all.
horrible commercials where like the sad cloud is going over the person, but to be honest, that kind of is what it's
Yeah.
like. Where you're like, yeah, everything is pretty great.
It's not good, but I'm back on some medication that has always worked for me and has always been very good for me. Prozac. Prozac's very good. I love it. I think it's great. It works for me.
Do you kiss it before you take it?
I fucking would. I would marry Prozac if I could. Prozac's my best fucking friend. But no, I'm back. I feel like I'm back to myself. I'm there's some hiccups because I'm like my body chemistry is getting
Yeah.
used to being back on the medication, but I absolutely love it, and I'm surrounded by good people, and I'm in an upswing in my personal life as well, so it all kind of correlates with me feeling like myself again.
I feel
So-
like
great,
you
man.
kind of maybe touched on one of the things earlier in the podcast, and tell me if I'm wrong or right. When you're not around people, it
Yeah, you
sounds
can.
like you tend to lose yourself a little bit. Like when you were living alone, or like
Yeah, yeah, certainly. I think there's no shortage of options for me to like have people around. Like I have
Yeah.
good friends that I could call, and at a moment's notice I can like go to their house, or they can come to my house, and I have good people on speed dial basically that could be there for me. But I think as a part of growth, you kind of have to like accept things as they come, and I started to live alone by choice because I'd never done it, and a lot of life changes were happening earlier this year for me, and a lot of difficulties were happening in my life around the April mark.
yeah.
And so I had to kind of like adapt to that, and I think it was a good opportunity for change. And once I started to like accept certain changes and try some things that I'd never done in my life before, I found that it kind of makes me less. I definitely just prefer to be around people, but I would say that it wasn't detrimental to my mental health. It was just kind of different.
Yeah.
It was just different and something
Not
that something-
preferred.
I
yeah,
know,
definitely not preferred.
I don't like myself as much if I'm like living alone, or if I'm like if I'm living a more solitary life. I just end up being like, that's not.
We're
that's not what I want.
entertainers.
Yeah,
We're
and
entertainers.
I also wonder too if like you and I both were married from the ages of like 11.
Yeah.
And then like all of a sudden
Your
you're
parents
not,
should
and
not
it's
have
like
approved that.
I think
were 12.
yeah, and
This one's on your parents. This divorce is on your parents.
Yeah, that's
divorce is
actually
on
a fact,
parents,
man.
shows on manager. Well, I'll pass the blame around.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I didn't do anything wrong. Anyway, but yeah, I think that like that amount of time being in a relationship when you're that young, like we were both married when our brains were still being formed. And so it's
Literally,
like
your
know who we
prefrontal,
were.
your
We didn't
frontal
know who we
cortex
were.
yeah, the
was being
prefrontal
formed.
cortex. Yeah, I think that ends up lending itself to like lifestyles that end up being like, I just don't do as well when I'm
Yeah.
by myself. Like I
Yeah.
enjoy it and I need it, and like I'll go away and be by myself. But yeah, it's funny because I like have we do the like, I don't like people, but like now I love being around people. Like it's just and it
Yeah.
is necessary, and we like to think we're not social creatures.
Well,
but,
being around certain people.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
I like
certain
being
people.
around certain
See, and
people.
I feel like
Yeah.
I'm always the opposite. Like I need alone time. Like Delman and I, like that's something we've discovered in like the first year of
You're
marriage.
like,
Is like it really is. I'm one of those people. I think I was forced into extrovert. Like I think I was naturally a giant introvert, and my mom even said that like she saw it happen when I had my surgeries. I felt like I had to perform a little bit more and had to like be an extrovert to be like pay attention to me a little bit because of a
Your
giant
tendencies.
hospital
Yeah.
filled with people, and so the kind sweet girl that was loud and cute got more attention.
Got more medicine.
Got more medicine, or got like literally a nurse's attention. But I think I'm naturally an introvert, and it's not like a dark hole. Like I don't really like if I'm alone for hours at night. I kind of love it. Like I kind of thrive
lets your
on it.
brain relax.
It lets my brain relax. That's fully it, because I feel like I'm 24/7. As far as things that like cripple you and feel like you're not yourself, for me a long time it was performing, because I went from
If you hadn't done
if
it.
I wasn't performing live, I wasn't performing period, I wasn't getting whatever this
Those
mush in my
laughs,
brain
baby.
out was, you know what I mean? Like even the laughs, it's not just, it's like even doing stuff like with Your World Today, characters and stuff, like for such a long time I wasn't, and that just put me in such a hole of like, you're not getting what you need to get out into the world out there. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. That, and I didn't have a voice for my wedding day, and that felt like pure hell.
Oh.
yeah, that was tough.
But
Things
things like that where you're not just doing what you want to do, that feels like that weird hole of like, whether it be performing live, whether it be just putting weird stuff on the internet for no one in particular, just to be able to get the boogers out of your brain, you know?
Yeah, I would say, and I don't know to what degree, but I think I'm kind of the opposite in terms of the shift that happened. Because I know when I was a kid, I was a super extrovert.
Yeah,
And
I think that
then
happens.
some crap happened, and then it was like, I think I was like 15, and it was just like immediate chemical shutdown. And then it like, since then, it's just been like, okay, you grow into who you are and you grow up or whatever. But I remember that like other version that was much
Well, you
more
build
like
those
That
walls.
sounds
and
like
you-
puberty, sir.
Yeah, that sounds
it
like
was puberty, yeah.
for sure.
And then, but it's that's what it is. It was like
Yeah.
the loss of that sort of childlike
But
wonderment.
also, you and I grew up in a similar home in the sense of like
Our neighbors.
there's certain we're in the same home. We grew up in the
yeah,
same
we grew up
home.
in the same home.
No, but like we grew up in the same home of like when puberty did hit, there were so many taboo things that came. I don't know if you feel that way, but there were so many taboo things
yeah.
that came into play, and I couldn't talk about it, and I couldn't
Those
like
religious
just those things that like
Oh,
really
yeah,
held
get
you
me
back
started
from
about
like
that.
no, but then that's not. But the point of it is also that you feel bottled up. You literally feel like you're bottled up for years. And only like in my 30s have I been in that weird place where I'm like, hey, if you don't like that person, don't invite them over. If you don't like those weird things that you're still learning as an adult, that you're like, oh, I don't like hanging out with that person, or I don't like going to bars. Like for birthdays in
Well,
particular.
that's
don't have a
something
bar
that I
at a
think everybody
birthday.
eventually figures out.
I think
like
it's
bars.
I don't like bars.
I don't want Jesus watching me while I jerk off. I just don't.
Elliot-
It's like join in or get out. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening to the Valleycast, and also thank you to our patrons.
Thank you
Always.
so much.
And forever.
Seriously, you guys, we can't do it without you. We literally cannot do what we are doing without you, and I want to thank you all individually right now. Thank you, John. Thank you, James. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Jimmy.
Jep.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jep. Thank you, Kim,
Patreon.com/thevalleyfolk
Lisa.
if you want Steve to read your name.
Jane.
Consider helping us out over there. It'll be great. And also,
David,
again, go into
Danny.
the description, click that link to our podcast channel. Please go subscribe to it because we're building it so we can launch new podcasts and we're going to move this baby over. It's going to be great.
Candace.
It's going to be
Cameron.
great. Thank you for listening.
Thank you,
Um,
Lisa.
Rate the podcast
Larry.
and share it with your friends. That helps us as well.
Leanne.
We're growing.
Liam.
It's great. There's
Liam.
going to be a new Patreon launch soon as well, so go over there. Everything's
Rebecca,
great.
Becky.
Everything's great. Except for my hair.
Kara.
But everything else is
Cynthia. Sarah.
I'm Joe Beretta. I'm here with Elliott
Kevin.
Morgan, Lee Newton, and Steve Zaragoza.
Calvin.
We'll see you next week.
Emily. Esther. Dan. Robert.